wild animals, and wild places. They're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors.
This guy's got a fish on, I think.
This week on Wardens.
Tonight at midnight, is a Walleye Opener.
You know what the limit is out here? Size?
13?
15.
10, 11.
We went over.
What would you do? You're in my shoes.
The hook and line walleye season on the inland waters of Michigan's Lower Peninsula always opens the last Saturday in April.
Tonight at midnight, is a Walleye Opener, pike and muskie, trout as well. But we're on a river, the Tittabawassee River. It's connected to the Saginaw River and the Saginaw Bay. There's a pile of walleye in here. They've just got done spawning.
In the hours leading up to the start of the season, conservation officers in Michigan's District 6 patrol the Tittabawassee River to make sure no one is getting a head start.
We're protecting the resource till midnight when season opens, keeping it fair for everybody.
This CO is primarily looking for people using artificial lures, as they aren't allowed until the season officially opens.
So in this stretch that we're on, the regulation right now is a single hook and worm only. You can't be using minnows or any artificial baits or spinners or blades or beads, and that's to protect the spawning walleye. So ultimately, you can be down here sucker, carp, catfishing, but you can't use any artificial lures.
Just a few minutes into a shift, this CO spots someone on the bank fishing with a lure.
Just got started?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fair enough. Where are you from?
About 100 feet that way.
Okay. What you fishing for?
Walleye.
Walleye?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you familiar with the rules and regulations with walleye? Yep, with walleye fishing?
Oh, is it not spoons yet?
Yep, it's not. Yeah, it's not seasoned yet.
The fisherman is using a spoon, which is not allowed.
Here's what I'm doing. I'm issuing a simple citation for attempt to take walleye closed season. Okay.
Now, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm only going to seize the lure because the lure. Well, here's the good thing. I'm giving you a rod and reel back.
That is
okay?
good, yes.
You're not going to lose that. I could keep that as evidence. I don't need to.
Thank you.
You're going to get your fishing license back tonight, so if at midnight you want to fish, you can do so, okay?
Okay.
And you can
Sounds good.
continue to fish the rest of the year.
He's ticketed for fishing in a closed season.
Say they caught, is it strict? It's catch release. Because that's
Okay,
all
so what they're doing, the only thing you can use right now is a small shanked hook with a worm. Okay, you can't have any lure, artificial lures, no minnows, and you can't be targeting walleye. You can't be targeting muskie, so you have to wait till the species is open.
So if they were to catch walleye,
They would have to immediately release them. Yep,
catch and release only.
correct.
Just up the river, this seal spots another shore fisherman with lures.
So what can you tell me about the rules and regulations with the lures?
No jig heads allowed.
Okay, what else?
Catch a walleye, immediate release.
Okay. Well, there's no artificial lures of any kind. You can't have the Rapala, you can't have the spinner. Any kind, absolutely. It's single hook and worm only. Okay?
Is that something that changed? 'Cause
Nope, it hasn't changed in forever.
Really?
Forever. Yep, absolutely. I've been on 15 years and it's been that way for 15 years.
But
Yeah.
I talked about even last year, sucker fishing.
Sucker fishing, you're okay. Now you can fish with a single hook and a worm.
Really?
No blades, beads, spinners, Rapalas, jig heads, any spoons, twister tails, all that stuff. Can't be using it. And here's the thing. With the number of people that are out on the banks, you look upstream right now, you can see all the people, the boats that are on the river, everybody's waiting till midnight. Okay, it's pretty strict enforcement on it. I'm going to be flat out honest with you. It's something we enforce. We've got miles and miles of river, and As difficult as that is, it's something we have to address. So here's the good news. You've got a couple nice fishing rods. I'm not going to take your fishing rods, okay? I'm going to take the Rapala off the line. I'm going to take the spinner that you just pulled off the other rod. I'm going to take those because those are my evidence. I don't need to take your rods and reels. That way when midnight hits, you can still fish. But I've got to take the 2 lures, okay?
He confiscates the 2 lures and issues another ticket for fishing a closed season. Patrolling on land are Sergeant Ron Kimmerly and Officer John Byers. Just a couple of hours before midnight, they spot a group fishing and try to get as close as possible to see what kind of equipment they are using and what kind of fish they are catching.
This guy's got a fish on, I think. He's got a fish, Sergeant. Ready? Get on the far right.
Yeah, it's catfish. Yeah, they're the bottom fishing.
The group is okay, so the officers move on and get ready for the next day.
It appeared to be a treble hook, so that means they're bottom fishing, but they had a strange weight above the hook, and it was yellow, so I couldn't really tell if that was, if it was silver, then it'd be a weight, but it was yellow, so that kind of drew my attention to it, and we saw him pull a catfish out, and then they immediately released it. So.
After a long day and night of patrolling the day before the walleye season opens in Michigan's District 6, a group of officers is back out opening day. Officers Quincy Goenlock and Ken Lowell are on the Tittabawassee River working amongst the thousands of anglers, making sure everyone is legal and safe.
Check licenses for anyone fishing and then life jackets, and we'll let you get back to it. Did you measure them or just eyeball them? How we doing, guys? Good. 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you. Any luck?
We'll be coming alongside you if you can reel up for us.
Just need a license for everybody, guys. 4 life jackets. Nothing. All right. You got a little work to do. Yeah. A little work to do. A lot of work. Yeah. Okay. Well, they bend the rod too, right?
Would you buy one of everything?
Yeah, I got them all.
Yeah.
What's the smallest fish you got?
I think 16.
Good deal. Thank you.
Thanks for enforcing, the laws of great outdoors, man.
Right on. Appreciate it.
A little bit too much to see people abuse it.
It is an uncharacteristically slow start, as most boats only have a fish or 2. On land, working the boat launches, Officers Will Brickle and Joe Myers are seeing a small increase in activity.
Did you guys do pretty well right at midnight then?
About 12:07, we caught the first fish.
That's not bad.
You know how big they have to be when you're around here?
15.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're good.
So you guys had a pretty good day.
Yeah, that's the one I'm probably going to want to take a look at. I'll use my ruler just because I'm comfortable with it. That is, you guys are right there, aren't you? Man. Yeah, yeah, he's 15.
That's a good one.
That's what they look like.
Okay, that's 1, 2, and 3. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, check that one right there and this one. 15, just like you said.
Oh yeah, you got it.
I know.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he's good. He's past the 15. He's past the 15, so.
Yep.
Back on the boat, Officers Goenlock and Lowell are still out on the river, where the daily possession limit is 5, and they must all be at least 15 inches in length.
Can I see those fish real quick? Are they in that cooler? All right, pull them right over here. And what's the smallest one you got?
It was probably what, 13 and a half, 14 this morning? 13.
Okay.
We up there by Milwaukee.
So the other 2 are legal, I assume, and then the other ones you say is a 13-incher.
Yeah.
Where did you put in? Where'd you launch at?
Right at Mouth Marina.
Mouth Marina. I'm the Saginaw.
Yeah.
Okay. So you come from there, came down here.
Yeah, we drifted all the way down. Yeah.
Okay.
The fishermen say they caught this fish on the Saginaw River, which has different restrictions. There, the daily possession limit is 8, and they must be 13 inches in length. But you can't keep a fish less than 15 inches on the Saginaw River and go immediately fish on the Tittabawassee.
So we're right at 14? Yeah. 14 and a quarter?
We knew he was over 13, that's why, you know.
Right on. Yeah. Do you understand where I'm coming from with the fish?
I understand
okay.
now.
And then the rule's been in place for a little while now.
But
I understand where you're coming from.
I know.
But
we fish both sides of it all the time.
I know.
So
the thing is, you can't have this fish up here.
You're saying we should put that fish to the car.
Yeah, you can't have it here.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you would have launched up for the Tittabawassee, came down and fished, got your limit or whatever,
right,
and you just motor straight on back through, you're fine because you're not fishing in a closed area. That's acceptable. But once you drop a line in the closed area, now you have to follow under these regulations. Measured out 14 and a quarter inches. We're in an area where it's restricted. The minimum limit is 15 inches. Unfortunately for him, he said he was fishing down off of the Saginaw River where it's legal to have a 13-inch walleye with a limit of 8, but in this area it's close to that size limit. So we ended up being issued a citation for having unsized fish in a restricted area.
The fish is confiscated and the angler is ticketed for possessing an undersized walleye. The officers think they have the same situation a few minutes later while checking this boat of 3.
How you doing, guys?
Good, how about you?
Good. Any luck?
Maybe and a stick. Couple of those.
All right, so you got a fish on board or not?
Yeah.
Okay, let me take a look at that. Don't let him out of there. How big is it?
Just over 13.
13?
Over. He's
Just
about
over.
14.
Where'd you catch him?
Right up there.
All right. You know what the limit is out here? Size?
13?
15. Did you think that this center street was the center street where you could fish up from?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's the Saginaw River.
What's the center street where you can fish up from?
On the Saginaw River.
On the Saginaw River. You're on the Tittabawassee.
Yep.
That is our fault.
Right on. You got, who caught the fish?
I.
You did? Okay, take a look at licenses real quick. You guys?
I'm 16.
16?
Yeah.
Okay.
While C.O. Lowell ran the fisherman's information, C.O. Goenlock remeasured the fish and found the short fish wasn't short after all.
What?
This is the only fish they have?
Yeah.
That's 15 and a half, right? It's 15 and a half inches.
Maybe should be fine, huh?
Yep. Lucky them.
Which one of you fellas measured that fish?
Okay. We're on our tape measure.
How wide's the bottom of a bucket?
We can about 12 inches? Yeah.
You know, would you believe me if I told you that fish is over 15 inches?
I hope so. I thought it was, yeah.
Okay, well it is. So you're not in trouble, which is good, right? But make sure you realize that you gotta have them 15 here.
Okay.
Know before you go.
Yeah. And don't measure with a bucket.
Yeah, don't measure with your foot. So.
Thank you. Have a good day, fellas. All right.
Thank you.
License, all right? Okay. All right.
Take it easy.
Yeah,
Be
you
careful.
too.
The start of Michigan's walleye season means a lot to the cities and areas around the heavily fished rivers.
People fish in this water system right now that have come from all over the state. They come here and support the local businesses, the local economy, the marinas, the party stores, the restaurants, the hotels, the city of Freeland that hosts the Walleye Festival. The resource of our walleye is huge to our local economy.
It is a heavily patrolled time of year in Michigan's District 6. This conservation officer is on the Tittabawassee River, making sure everyone is playing by the rules.
Okay, and how many fish have you caught?
5.
And how many have you caught?
4 or 5. We've had a bunch of throwbacks.
Okay. And how many did you keep?
We should have 4 or 5 apiece in there.
Okay. And what are you guys fishing for right now?
Walleye.
Okay. So somebody has a limit on the boat and somebody doesn't. And we've got both of you fishing, right?
Right.
With 9 fish, that means one of them had 5 and one of them had 4. I asked them which individual had 5, which had 4, and they were unable to answer me, showing the lack of responsibility to know who caught what and who possessed what. Okay, so let's take a look at the fish. And I got in the cooler, counted the fish, and they end up having 11 fish, which went on to show the maybe the excitement they had or the lack of responsibility to know who was keeping what and how many fish they had total. So in fairness, I have a job to do, right? And you guys have a responsibility as anglers, right? So what, in fairness, what do I do? What would you do? You're in my shoes.
Good morning.
The Michigan DNR works extremely hard to keep a healthy walleye population.
The reasons we plant walleye is we're trying to restore lost populations. So that's number one goal. We like to rehabilitate degraded populations. In other places we'll stock to provide an additional recreation opportunity or to improve a fishery.
In late spring, biologists and volunteers electrofish the Muskegon River to collect walleye. Ripe walleyes are kept for spawning.
So we'll strip all the eggs out of the girl. We'll fertilize with the male immediately after.
From there, the eggs go to a hatchery for about 3 weeks. Once hatched, they are moved to one of 98 rearing ponds the state manages.
A 1/4-inch fish, we put 1 million of those in here today, and they're going to be in here for about 38 to 42 days before we harvest them.
Volunteers from clubs like White Lake Area Sport Fishing Association assist with fertilizing the pond.
We wanted to improve the fishing in this area, and so the club was actually formed for this purpose.
Help from the clubs is essential for us because they're local and they can help us with the weekly activities here.
From the rearing ponds, the walleye are eventually moved to lakes and rivers throughout the state. It takes 2 to 4 years for them to grow to be about 15 inches in length.
11, eh?
We're 1 over.
Working the Walleye Opener in Michigan's District 6. This conservation officer has 2 fishermen with 11 fish in their boat. The daily limit for walleye is 5, so these guys have 1 too many.
They were both issued citations for possessing over-limited walleye, and they got to keep their fishing gear and their fishing privileges, and hopefully it was an honest mistake.
Each was ticketed, as neither angler knew who caught the 11th walleye. The fish were seized for evidence and later donated to a local food bank. Later in the evening.
Well, how many?
Just one.
Just one. Okay.
The guys in this boat say they have just 1 fish. But this officer doesn't buy their story. He thinks this is their 2nd trip out on opening day.
It can be very common for some of the guys to go out at midnight, catch a limit or close to a limit of fish, and then come back out during the daytime hours, late in the day, and attempt another limit of fish, which would be a double limit. I'm going to ask you a question, okay? And how you answer me is going to determine how we're going to move forward on this whole situation, okay? Let's talk about the other fish from last night. Guys, I'm not going to play games. You shoot me straight, I'm going to shoot you straight. If not, we're dealing with boats and gear and a bunch of other stuff. Okay? How many?
5.
No, 5 for you, and how many for you?
4.
At first they say they have 9 total, but after rethinking their answer...
What did we do last night? We got 10 last night. We didn't have 9. We had 10. If we got 10 last night, Then I had 5 last night, and then I got the 1 today. So that would make 6.
They ended up having 11 fish after I questioned them about fishing last evening and who was still fishing even though they had a limit.
This officer goes with them to confiscate their fish. Tickets are issued for taking and possessing an overlimit of walleye. The fish are taken to an evidence freezer and later will be donated to a local food bank. Wild animals and wild places, they're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors.
So we have an untagged deer hanging there. There's 3 plates I'm gonna run to see.
This week on Wardens,
these 2 both had the loaded guns.
We're gonna take the deer with us. Okay. You're done hunting for the year too.
You can't drive a dirt bike?
No, nothing.
Oh no, don't tell me that.
the firearm deer season in Michigan is just 16 days long. But over 1.2 million licenses were sold in 2016, putting it near the top of all states across the country. About 5% of those licenses are sold in the Upper Peninsula. In the southern section of District 1, Conservation Officer Brian Bacon gets a call to assist on a stop with an illegally tagged deer.
Sounds like they came across a deer that was in a truck and had her tag, or female's tag on it, and when talking to them, they finally got the male shot it and then just put the female's tag on it.
This hunter shot a young buck and put his girlfriend's tag on it so he could keep hunting.
So what happened? Obviously they already know, but just saw a nice deer. And
yes.
I asked them if they had gotten a deer yet, and they said no. Anybody in their group get a deer? No. We pull ahead and there's a deer in the back. So they just told me that nobody they knew had a deer, and there's one in the back of their truck. So we went from there, and Jared looked at the tag, and the tag was just bought a couple hours ago by their girlfriend who's not with them. So we just started asking questions from there, and his girlfriend didn't have anything to do with it except for ran quick while she was working to buy a license, gave it to him. He went back out and put his girlfriend's license on the deer that he shot.
He's issued a ticket for using someone else's tag. His rifle, his unused deer tag, and the deer itself are all confiscated.
We're going to take the deer with us. Okay. You're done hunting for the year too. So the tag is ours as well. All right.
His girlfriend was also ticketed for loaning her tag to someone else. They each paid fines of $285. Officers in the UP spend a lot of time investigating illegal blinds.
Okay, they picked up some of the garbage. It looks cleaner than it has in a long time. But there's still, well, they threw most of it over the hill now. So it is still an active hunting location. I just have to catch them when they're out here, because they're obviously still baiting it. This corn wouldn't last. With all the other animals out here, something would eat it, but I'm sure there's deer coming in here. Hello, is anybody inside? Hello? Nobody here again. Okay, well, there's nobody here. This is the second time we've checked it and it's empty, so I'll keep it on the list and continue to check it.
While out checking a couple of spots, CO Mark Liedman comes across a hunting camp with an untagged deer hanging out back.
There's nobody here. So we have an untagged deer hanging there. There's 3 plates I'm gonna run to see. 1 from Michigan and 2 from Wisconsin.
With about an hour until sundown, Officer Liebman decides to pull off to the side of the cabin and wait for the hunters to return to camp. After dark, an ORV drives in.
Hello, how you doing? Pretty good. Pretty good. Any luck tonight?
Nope.
No? Okay. Somebody got lucky?
Yep.
Whose is that?
My son's.
Your son's? Okay. Awesome. Okay. Is the gun unloaded?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No? Okay. It's not. Just leave it set right there. That's fine. That's fine. So your son's still out? Is he on a 4-wheeler or is he walking or? They're still out on a 4-wheeler?
Yep.
Okay. Is there somebody with them then or?
Well, he's.
Right. Okay. He's the only other person out hunting?
No, my sister.
Okay.
And my nephew.
Okay. So you got 3 more people out from camp?
Yep.
Okay.
They go inside to look for a hunting license, and then a second ORV drives into camp. This driver also has a loaded rifle in the vehicle.
Is this your son then, or is this one of the others? Oh, okay. Okay. Hello.
Hi.
State Conservation Officer.
Hi.
Just checking real quick. Is your gun unloaded in there?
No, it isn't.
It's not?
I'm sorry, I forgot to.
Okay. Do you have a license with you? What, do you make sure that's in park, though? Do you have a parking brake? Yeah, you might want to make sure it doesn't roll anymore.
2 more officers arrive at the scene as they wait for 2 more hunters to come in from the field.
Yeah, 2 more are coming in. These 2 both had the loaded guns coming in. These 2 both had the loaded guns coming in. Unfortunately, the deer over there is untagged. His son shot it, and he admitted doesn't have a tag. He was going to use one of his.
In Michigan's District 1, Conservation Officer Mark Liebman is updating fellow officers Pete Wright and Brett DeLong on what he's found. An untagged deer, and so far 2 hunters driving ORVs with loaded rifles.
And what did this turn out to be? A 6 maybe, or 5?
Probably a 5 or 4.
Yeah, it's hard to say what you would count. They're not really even top 1-inch points,
No,
but
it's a 4 point.
it's, yeah, a true 4. A true 4, yep.
The other 2 hunters eventually made their way back to camp, one with a coyote and a loaded gun. Michigan has a year-round coyote season.
Any deer at all? Or?
I seen 1 spike horn, that was it.
1 spike, huh?
Yeah, that's it.
The 4th driver to come in also has a loaded rifle. He's the one who shot the untagged deer.
How you doing, sir? Good.
And he did not buy a license.
All 4 hunters were on ORVs. Each one of them still had a loaded rifle with them when they came in. So we dealt with the loaded guns and started questioning about who shot the deer that was hanging there without a tag. And we were able to get through the information there and find out it was the one individual at camp that did not have a deer license. He was going to use one of his father's tags to put on the deer, but they hadn't done that yet. So we were able to get there before they put an illegal tag on it. I know you said you don't have a hunting license, but do you have any Michigan licenses at all?
This is my Michigan license from last year.
From last year, okay. Yep, and that this one you want to keep, yep. And then of course this is no good. That's from.
That's fishing, I think. This was my father. We were going to get the combo.
And that's what he said.
Went online.
Yep.
So he had that information. That's what I did.
Did you have anything for this year, for 2016?
I do not.
So no base or anything?
I do not, no.
Okay. When did you shoot the deer, roughly?
I shot the deer 5:15 yesterday evening.
About 5:15?
Correct.
On November 15th. Okay, with this same firearm here?
That is correct. That's my father, well, my grandfather's rifle.
Okay, been around for a while? That's cool. Yeah, it looks like it's got some history to it, so.
CO Liebman documents the gun used to shoot the deer. The first 3 drivers are given tickets for transporting a loaded firearm in their ORV and fined $200 each. The hunter who shot the deer and didn't tag it is ticketed for taking a deer without a license.
It's listed on here. We seized your gun for now and your deer, so they're both listed on the front. He was going to tag it with his father's license, and they didn't even bother to put that one on there. The deer was shot yesterday at about 5:15 p.m., and here we are after dark on day 2, and there's still no tag on it, so that's the story we got out of them. So we're gonna seize the deer and the rifle, and issued everybody a ticket for the loaded firearms. And I think they'll get away without posting bond because of the Wildlife Violators Compact. So,
the Wildlife Violators Compact allows out-of-state violators to accept their ticket and continue on without posting bond. Before the compact, out-of-state violators would have been subject to cash bond before leaving in order to guarantee their return for court. The seized deer is donated to a needy family in the area.
And we can just sign the deer over to them, and they can process it and butcher it themselves and utilize it. We don't want the deer to go to waste, so for evidence purposes, a few photographs will be all we need. We'll keep the head of the animal, and that'll be all we need for evidence.
The hunter must pay $2,000 in restitution for the antlered deer and an additional $1,000 in fines for a total of $3,000.
It's pretty pricey. It's a lot cheaper to buy a license than it is to shoot one and then try to tag it some way illegally after the fact.
Michigan has more than 60 deer check stations located throughout the state. DNR biologists get information from hunters who voluntarily bring their deer in. They check the age, weight, number of points, and more. This information is used to judge the health of the deer herd. In 2016, almost 27,000 deer were checked in, which gives biologists like Brian Roll of the Marquette Field Office plenty of chances to hone his weight guessing skills.
164.
Yeah.
He might be heavier. He's thicker, but he's not long.
Right, no, it's not the biggest body, but he's solid and he's got a nice neck on him, but. Oh boy.
I better quit.
Yeah.
I was 0.2 pounds off.
Yeah.
In District 1, CO Brian Bacon is patrolling near the end of shooting hours on the first Sunday of deer season. On a bumpy dirt road, he comes across 2 dirt bike riders.
Hey guys, not too bad. Where are you guys coming from? Okay.
In Michigan, ORV riders must obey quiet hours during firearm deer season. That means no riding between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. and between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. on any public grounds.
You can't be riding them from 2 to 5 during hunting season. That's an area that's open to public hunting. Okay. Do you have a couple IDs on you?
No, I left mine at the shop, I think.
Okay.
One of the bikes isn't registered in Michigan, and one of the drivers has a suspended license.
Is everything valid on your driver's license, or is it going to come back suspended?
I'm on suspended. I'm on probation for driving a car without a license.
Okay. All right. So the same differences for these.
What do you mean?
It's a motorized vehicle on a roadway. Okay.
You can't drive a dirt bike?
No, nothing.
Oh no! Don't tell me that.
How many times have you been?
This is the second. But did the first one when I was 17.
Yeah.
And then this here, the second time was just a year ago.
Okay.
I had no idea. If I'd have known that, I would never even come close to touching this thing.
Yeah. Well.
I don't even know what to say.
Okay. Just hang on a second, okay?
In the summer, the Michigan DNR offers an Academy of Natural Resources to educators.
There's 2 things in the bushes, one right by the turkey, and then there's one farther up.
Teachers spend a week at the Ralph A. McMullen Center learning skills related to the DNR that may help with lesson plans and class curriculum.
It'll be just another, step in my teaching of teaching about nature and, taking care of our wilderness.
There are many programs offered, including forestry, fisheries, water quality, and forensics.
We're giving them skills in the morning of, interview techniques, to be able to collect evidence and then observation techniques, and those skills will be put to use in the afternoon, where we'll put them through some scenarios and try to give them some real life experience as a Michigan conservation officer and kind of the things that we see on a daily basis, and just better educate them on our position and what we do.
Education is one of the DNR's top priorities. Making students aware of the work they do could get them interested in careers with the department as well.
I think it's important for kids to learn so much more about the DNR and what they do. Seeing conservation officers really ties together what the DNR does and what they could possibly do with their future as well.
The week-long academy tries to give teachers ideas on how to make learning fun.
My favorite part, which I think could apply to a classroom, was the crime scene investigation.
Teaching them to look in different directions but use the sun in your favor.
Something you could take into the classroom would be maybe a mock investigation where the students could use their investigation skills to track down the same type of situation.
It's an exciting job, it's very rewarding, and you know, express that to them, and maybe they can take that back to their communities.
It's a motorized vehicle on a roadway, okay?
So you can't drive a dirt bike?
No, nothing.
Oh no, don't tell me that.
Michigan Conservation Officer Brian Bacon pulled over these two dirt bikes for driving on public land during the firearm deer season. One of the drivers has a suspended driver's license and didn't realize that included ORVs.
So right now the restriction times from 2 to 5 p.m. for hunting season restricts ATVs from being used on public roads where it's open to public hunting due to the fact they're so loud, like these two where you can hear them coming off the trail.
He's given a warning for driving with a suspended license. Both are ticketed for operating their ORVs during a closed period, which is a civil infraction and a $175 fine. To avoid further trouble, both opt to push their bikes the rest of the way home. In Michigan's District 1, CO Mark Liedman is checking on a blind on state land. A grandfather has returned to the woods after not hunting for 40 years in an effort to get his grandson involved. There's just one problem. The grandson forgot to bring his license out with him.
Find your license to bring it, because if you shoot the deer, you have to tag it with your tag. And if Grandpa shoots it, he uses his tag. So you need your license with you and your hunter safety card with you. Carry that. You know where that's at still?
Is it in the car?
The hunter safety card is probably at your house.
Did you show it when you bought your license? Did they make you show it? Good, perfect. They're supposed to, but a lot of places don't. So just bring your sports card then and your license, and you'll be good. Great to see you out here. So I'm going to give you warnings on that stuff today, and you don't need a ticket. I like what you're doing. And if you haven't hunted in that many years and you're doing it to show him, that's what we want to see.
Okay, can you explain to him the need of being quiet in the blind?
Yeah.
Not talking.
You know how good you can hear? Multiply that by 200.
200?
A lot. I mean, deer can hear anything. If you wrinkle one wrapper and it's quiet out, they're going to hear it. If it's windy, you get away with some things, but if it's a still night, you cannot cough, you cannot rustle your feet against the leaves, you cannot touch the side of the blind, you can't bump your gun against the rest when you go to set it on there. Any of that will scare a deer away. They can hear fantastic, and they can see good too, so they see movement. So you have to be quiet and sit still. It's hard to do.
Can't stick our head out the window.
No, let the deer come into view. Don't stick your head out looking for them. They will see you way before you see them. You just have to be patient, okay? And listen, he knows how to hunt.
Back with CO Bacon, as the dirt bike drivers walk home, he encounters a hunter coming out of the field who had heard the noise from the dirt bikes.
Yeah, I heard you guys from the road.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, these guys were ripping around on their bikes during that quiet period. Nobody really wants to listen to that all day when they're sitting.
Them come through.
Oh.
This hunter shot an 8-point buck during archery season near the exact same spot. But when CO Bacon checks his licenses, he still has all of his tags.
What date did you shoot your 8-pointer on?
Oh, yeah. So
I actually lost my tags. That one tag isn't valid because I had to get new tags. Why'd you get new tags? I lost the other ones. Okay, so just a regular a license check on a subject walking out of the woods, and he, during interviewing him, he stated he shot a 8-pointer during bow season, and when he handed me his tags, he still got all his tags. And his story is that he lost his other tags and got replacement tags for them. So I need to just verify that he did.
First purchased his combo tags August 11th, 2016. He then purchased a replacement November 2nd, 2016. Looks like he also has an antlerless deer license purchased.
The hunter's story checks out. Officer Bacon takes the appropriate tag that was already used and wishes him luck during the firearm season.
There's these back for you, and I'll destroy your other one for you. Okay? Yep. Sounds good. Thanks.
Have a good night.